afternoon. This is Chris Brecher with a Simpler Stocks free video for March 11th, 2016. I had to look away to be sure what day it was. It's so exciting over here, I forgot what even day it was. Now I know it's Thursday, but this is for March 11th, for Friday. Basically, today was a real wild day that we saw this gigantic rally on the opening, right to resistance. Now, that was after Draghi pulled out the bazookas. Well, what's really interesting about today isn't as much the sell-off, it's the rally that came today. Because there were a lot of people that said that if the market can't rally with Draghi, the ECB decision being so bullish, that the market's going to crash, and then it miraculously came back. And like, I know it's a broken record, but why do you think it came back? Buybacks. And these buybacks it's amazing how they keep something going. Now you might ask, well, what do you mean by that? How do you know it's a buyback? Let me put it this way. Here's a stock that acted awful for a month. Came out with horrible earnings. Monster Beverage. Check out how the stock has acted ever since the earnings. You had this downgrade back here. You had the earnings here, and that day it actually got down to 118 pre-market. And now look at this. No matter what the market throws at it, this stock goes up. It's just unbelievable. I can't tell you how many stocks have that type of pattern where no matter what is thrown at it, it just goes up. And that's because of stock buybacks. So what you get is these very, very shallow sell-offs, no matter how bad the market looks. Now, what index acted the worst today? The Russell. Which index has the least amount of buybacks? The Russell. So that's why that happened. Let me show you something interesting. I posted this morning on Simpler Stocks before the opening about the rally in the Russell right here, that we're going to have to start looking for stocks in the Russell that have already sold off, that are already showing bearish patterns. So basically, I showed about 5 of them this morning. I said, you have to watch out for Draghi, but you should start to look for some. Well, here's one that I posted, ELLI. We actually showed this as a bullish chart way back here, but look at this here. Not only did it, you had these dojis right here. I love dojis like this. You had the negative divergence down here. And then what you got today was you got a rally because of Draghi, and after the opening, it just absolutely fell apart. It went from 84 to 80. Gigantic sell-off. Now, a lot of what I'm teaching is when something looks bad, you don't have to try to short the top. Go to a shorter term chart. Go to a 2-minute. And the second it got under this ATR trailing stop this morning, which is around 83.5, you would have been golden all the way down. Just amazing how that works. Other thing is, though, in today, what we were also watching, in something that I actually posted, not posted, but I was on Simpler Options, not Simpler Stocks, right for the opening. Usually Henry Gambell does the opening. He needed me to do it. There's a lot of pressure because I'm not the one that usually does the opening. I noticed this. So I noticed the ESs and I noticed the Russell. And these are the things I've been teaching on the Simpler Stocks on the in the premium chat and also in the newsletters. Notice here the ES is on the left, the Russell on the right. The whole idea is both of these have been bouncing the same right to resistance. Now, the whole key in here is I like when I trade intraday, if I see a tell that's so, there's something out of whack so much it'll pull the other index down. Usually the Russell on the right will pull down the ESs eventually. This is what was really neat, and I was showing this on Simpler Options prior to the opening, right after the opening. Here is the Russell. Forget about, we're going to go to today, not earlier in the week. And I want you to see on the right the Russell here. Now I want to go on the left, and I want to put over here, I want to put the ESs. Now you see on the opening, they were both, before when Draghi talked, they were both way up. No doubt about it. So the whole idea in this is watch what happened right on the opening. ES is sold off a teeny bit, not a lot, and they were still up about 10 points right here. Notice the Russell, though, on the right after the opening, fell apart. So they went from up about 8 to they were down right here, 1076, right at 10 o'clock. So I want you to keep that in mind right at this big old moving average here. Now, a lot of times, and I taught this last night, we had a free moving average class. The whole idea isn't always if it breaks the moving average or support. It's how does an index look relative to another index in relation to the moving averages. So what happened here when the TFs finally broke, sort of broke to the point of no return here, and we're way down, like down 10 points, check out the time of this. So you're talking about the Russell here. That was the intermediate top, was at 950, right in this area. At 950, this was almost at a new high. Look when this finally fell apart under the moving average right here, 1015. This was still up. So this was about 10 points under its moving average. This was about 10 points over it. Guess what happened in the next 2 hours? ES is falling apart and at one time down almost 17 points. You had the Russell down almost 20. It was a great tell, and those are the type of things we try to show on how to intraday trade. Now, one thing in here, we were doing option trades. I know it's simpler stocks, but I was showing all kinds of trades that you could orient around that. The key is when you see an index fall apart this much, and on dailies they correlate so well, usually something that gets this far beyond the point of no return and under this moving average is going to drag this one down. And as you see down here, they were both down the same amount. And that's exactly what happened. What do I think now? Fast forward to now, we have about 10 minutes before, well, 2 minutes before the close. Notice on here what you see. ESs are about 4 points from its moving average. The Russell's 8 points, and it's an index that's much cheaper. This is a big, significant tell for tomorrow. If the Russell cannot start rallying and it has another sell-off, you're going to see the ESs sell off again. Now, we were showing this right here. We were showing this moving average right here. What I want you to see is look at the pink one. That's the 49. And now I'm going to magnify it in here. And I want you to see that the TFs are almost right at that moving average while the ESs are way above it. So tomorrow's going to be a big moment of truth to see if the Russell pulls down the ESs or if the Russell can kick in to sort of go to where the ESs are. So I hope this helps everyone. Other thing I want to mention, you know we have a $7 trial for 30 days, but also I wanted to mention one last thing in here is that next Thursday that I'm doing a class called Day Trading for a Living. So right now I'm up to about 151 slides. It's a 2-hour class. Like you see on here, it's 6 to 8 p.m. Central. And it's and that's Central. And then 9:30 to 12:30 p.m. Central. They actually have this wrong. It's 9:30 to 12:30 Eastern. So that way you get right on the opening. So they need to change the time on here. But basically what we have in there is I'm going to be day trading for 3 hours the day after. I'm going to go on 2 hours on about the class. And what we're going to be in there is I'm going to show you all sorts of tips and tricks. I'm going to show you what chart patterns I use. And like I showed you today, the correlations. So I hope that helps everybody. As you see on here, it's $97 for the 2-hour class. Then the 2-hour class and live trade is $197. So I hope that helps everyone. Everyone have a great night.